and which would have been on the 16th. And I said, he said, tell him to come anytime, Dad. I said, no, I'm going to have Mom. He tells me, tell my dad to come in anytime that day. And I told him, no, we're going to go ahead and do it at the end of the day, so your dad can fly into Las Cruces and you pick him up at the airport, and then you guys can drive in. So that was the plan.
But Geronimo flew in, but Benjamin didn't show up?
No. Well, see, I was supposed to fly in on the 16th. Was it the 16th?
Right.
To just spend 2 or 3 days with him. We were going to go to Juarez across the border and just hang out, have a couple of beers, and just hang out.
Uh-huh.
And but he didn't make it. You know, he died on the 13th, so I was supposed to be there on Monday, and he died Friday. And then I had talked to him on the 12th, and he had a lot of things to say that kind of made me think, because he told me he had 2 run-ins with one of the unit members that day, and
he told you which unit member this was, right?
Yes, he did. He told me which one it was, but I don't want to bring up any names, you know, because the investigation's over, but still, you know, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. But he told me that he had a run-in twice that day with that unit member that he was having problems with.
This was a specialist?
Yeah, this was the specialist, and he said that he almost, I don't know if I can say this on radio, but anyway, he said that I almost pulled his blank's head off. You know? Mm-hmm. And I told him,
meaning he pissed off Benjamin, what he was saying.
Yes, he did, and he told me he had hurt his jaw, that guy's jaw. So that was about the 6th time that this had occurred, you know.
Who had hurt whose jaw? Benjamin had hurt the specialist?
Benjamin had hurt the specialist's jaw.
Meaning he'd hit him in the jaw or something?
Well, I think what he did is he had him, supposedly he had him around the neck, because he told me he almost pulled his blanket off.
So they were having a lot of physical encounter. I mean, this was not just verbal, this was actually physical too.
Well, like we told you, there was 3 on the TV that were mentioned.
Who gave him the bum's rush, yeah.
And then 3 that week that he died, because he told my wife about one, I think it was like on Wednesday, and then he told me, no, Tuesday, and then Thursday he told me about 2 that had happened that day.
And Judy, you have a clip from the DVD you'd like to play?
Well, yes, this is, let me kind of set it up for you. We have been asking for Benjamin's clothing from the funeral home. It was Sunset Funeral Home in Fort Bliss, and they wouldn't give them to us. Monica, Benjamin's widow, had talked to Major Carper back in September the 28th of 2007. That was months after he passed away, July 13th. And she had asked him to check on the clothing. Well, Muffley Funeral Home from Clovis had requested that they send in his clothes, and they hadn't done it. And Mr. Muffley could not understand why they would not send the clothing. He constantly called Sunset. Anyway, Muffley Funeral Home, Major Carper wrote us a statement as to what he had checked on, and Muffley Funeral Home still hasn't received Sergeant Griego's clothes from Sunset Memorial Home, is what it says. He called Muffley, hadn't received the items as of today. They had called Sunset and spoke to a man there named Jose and informed that they could not release the items to us, but it had to go through the casualties office in Fort Bliss. They called and spoke to a Priscilla Montano at the Casualty Assistance Office, and she said she would immediately make arrangements with Sunset to have the items sent. The items were not received until December the 13th, and Monica had asked her not to wash the clothing.
This was the clothing that he was wearing when he died that night.
Yes. And it took nearly 6 months, 5 months before they sent the clothing?
Yeah, and the investigation wasn't over yet, but, you know, they managed to do what the video, what the audio will tell you.
Well, we'll take a break here in just a moment, and then we'll play the audio when we come back. But, Judy, is there anything else you'd like to add before setting it up? What was the occasion for creating this audio?
We just taped everything, every conversation that we had with anyone.
Good.
We taped everything.
Good.
And this is just part of it.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll listen to the audio, and we'll discuss what happened to your son in greater detail. This is Jim Fetzer, your host on The Real Deal, with my special guests, Judy and Geronimo Griego, and we're discussing the death of their son, Benjamin. We'll be right back. This is Jim Fetzer, your host on The Real Deal, with my special guests the first hour, Judy and Geronimo Griego, and we're talking about their son Benjamin. And Judy, tell us a little more about the DVD. You're going to play a little clip from just to refresh the minds of our listeners. What do you have here?
The DVD is an audio of what took place with my son's clothing, the clothing that he was wearing the night of his death. He's got blood stains on the clothing, and Casualty's office in Fort Bliss washed it after requesting it for 5 months. And there's still visible blood stains on there, and they destroyed evidence, and the CID thought that they had the clothes, and they did not. So we kind of argued over the thing that they had the clothes, and anyway, we have them here.
Well, Judy, just don't you imagine CID was given clothing that they were told was the right clothing, but it actually wasn't the wrong clothing, so they might believe they had the right clothing but not have the right clothing?
No, I don't think they know what was going on, and I don't think they really cared to know what was going on with the clothing.
All right. Go ahead. Can you play the DVD?
Sure. I'm going to put it on speakerphone.
Yeah, sure. Turn it up.
Hi, Priscilla. This is Monica Griego. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Just fine, thank you.
A little louder.
I believe it was on Friday last week, and you gave me the information to fax over to Mr. Santiago. But I haven't had a return phone call from him. I went ahead and printed up the release form for the medical or dental information, and I went ahead and faxed everything off that you told me to request in the picture ID, along with the release form, and I have not heard anything back.
Let me give them a call and follow up on that. Make sure that we get it processed for you.
Okay, is there a number that I could call there to talk to somebody there?
The only number that I have is the fax number. I'm going to get a hold of the patient administration office.
Okay.
And get a direct number from Mr. Santiago.
Okay.
So that I can get the information that we need to Mrs. Goff, she's the patient administrator. And we can take it from there.
Okay. Another thing I had to ask you about, I just received the package you sent with my husband's clothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Why was it washed?
Why?
Yes.
Well, because, we had to make sure that, that there was no, that it was clean.
Why? Because I understand that what may have been on the clothing that was explained to me by Musley's Funeral Home here, but I still let them know and Sunset Funeral Home know in El Paso before they were supposed to send it that I didn't want that done, that I would take care of it here. They said they would put it in a biohazard bag and send it here.
Right.
So who was responsible for washing it?
Who was responsible for washing it?
Yeah, who washed it?
Well, I did.
Okay. Well, did you wash it after I spoke with you on Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I told you not to do that, though.
Well, the thing is that we can't send it out, if it's soiled. We can't do that.
I don't understand that at all. I asked you to put it in a bag where, there wouldn't have been a problem for anybody else to just put it in a bag. A biohazard bag wouldn't leak. To put it in a biohazard bag and send it here. I don't understand why it was washed. I don't understand that. I specifically told you not to do that, and I told you that I would take care of it as soon as it came here to me.